Hey guys, I didn't realize I started recording already. I'm just doing what I usually do before starting a video, listening to music. Music is great, helps you relax, focus, think, and can even be a great way to ignore what others are saying. FishPaste, it's your turn to take out the garbage. FishPaste. It truly is wonderful. And what better genre to incorporate music into than video games? Music has been a part of video games for a long time. From the original Donkey Kong arcade game to Friday Night Funkin', music has been a part of the genre for decades. You can probably see where this is going. Rhythm games. Don't know what my life would be without them. Rhythm games are exactly what they sound like. They take the music in video games and form it into the main gameplay mechanic, where you use your sense of rhythm to play. Some of these are simply just clicking buttons in a specific order, while others can be full of whatever this is. Many rhythm games are different from each other, and there are no two that really feel alike. Or at least that's what I felt from my experiences anyways. I've played a few rhythm games throughout my time, and I'll probably play even more as time goes on, but one of the most standout series of rhythm games for me personally has to be Parappa the Rapper. Parappa the Rapper was an original PlayStation game that came out on December of 1996, and yeah, I'm not doing that joke again. I've already done this joke once in the Among Us video, and I think doing it once there is enough. But yeah, if the title of this video wasn't obvious enough, the game series I'm talking about today is Rhythm Heaven. But don't you Parappa fans worry, that video will come out later. Dunno how much later, but eventually it will come out. Anyways, Rhythm Heaven. For those unaware, Rhythm Heaven is a Nintendo series that originally began as a Japan exclusive titled Rhythm Tengoku on the Game Boy Advance on August 3rd, 2006. It then went on to create 3 more sequels, all thankfully being released internationally. Each game in the series follows a similar format. You have a group of rhythm games you have to try and complete, with each entry doing things a little different than the last. And as much as I'd love to talk about each game individually here in this video, I'll have to hold off for now. Each game in the series deserves to have its own video discussing what each has to offer. But for right now, let's talk about the 2011 game for the Wii, Rhythm Heaven Fever. Is it really that time again? Do I really have to stand here and talk about FishPaste's boring server only to be interrupted? Guess not. Well, if you want to join, then join. I'm sure you'll find some people there you can talk to if you really want to. Not like I can, anyways. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to get some coffee. Just being here is draining my energy.
Welcome all viewers. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program of FishPaste, talking about some random video game for something much more interesting. I am your host, VG5, and this is Video Game Talk with Video Generator 5. Today's talker that we have here is Jar Tar, the local Jar who loves sandwiches.
Hey!
Now tell me Jar Tar, I know you love sandwiches, but do you love video games?
Of course I do. Maybe not as much as sandwiches, but I sure do have a fondness for them.
And what video games have you played?
Well, I've played the original Mario Kart, Mario Kart 64, Mario Kart Super Circuit, Mario Kart Double Dash, Mario Kart DS, Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Mario Kart Tour.
Have you played any video games other than the Mario Kart ones?
Nah, all I need is Mario Kart and I'm good.
Okay then. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Catch us here next time on VGT with VG5, where we'll hopefully have someone with us that has a less obsessive taste in video games. Goodbye.
Getting into the game, we are greeted to the title screen in an instant banger of a song that lets you immediately know what this game is all about. Oh, and also this. Right off the bat, it is shown that this game isn't going to be your typical easy peasy kids Wii game. No, this game is for gamers. like me. Anyways, this intro is basically here to give you a taste of what to expect, and to also help you build your rhythm up a little bit before the actual game gets really started. And you know, that's always something I've appreciated about this franchise. They don't just throw you into the games and expect you to automatically be able to have an understanding of what to do. It just goes to show how much effort was put into this series by the developers, and everybody else on the team that was working on this. Getting back into the primary gameplay, you have a bunch of options to choose from here. There's the main rhythm games, 50 in total, that I have varying thoughts on. There's also endless games, rhythm toys, and extra games. Now of course you don't get access to all of these automatically right from the start. You can unlock all of the main rhythm games just by simply playing through them and getting an OK or higher, while the side games can be unlocked by earning medals you get by getting superb on the main rhythm games. And speaking of those main games, I, quite frankly, love the main rhythm games in Fever. Well, for the most part. There are a few stinkers here and there, but very minimal. It truly is amazing just the sheer amount of care and effort was put into each and every game in the entire pack. In the other entries, there's some standout ones that you really just do not like. And yeah, like I said earlier, Fever isn't completely void of this fact. Remix 2 kinda sucks. Both of the love raps aren't particularly what I would call fun, and Monkey Watch can go die. But even with those ones, there's still some fun to be had in them. And of course, the highs in Fever are very high. There are so many great examples to choose from when talking about this game's great aspects. Seesaw, Working Doll, Air Rally, Figure Fighter, Ringside, Samurai Slice, Flipper Flop, Exhibition Match, Cheerleaders, Karate Man, all great rhythm games in their own right. And that's not even mentioning every other good game within the main 50. And that's not all, oh no, there's still the other side games. Nightwalk is a fun little playable version of the main credits that can be unlocked after getting an OK or higher on Remake 7. Extra games are a collection of classic rhythm games from the original Tengoku, for more quote-unquote hardcore fans, which is always nice to say. Endless games are basically what you see is what you get. It's a small collection of games that, you guessed it, go on forever. Even the small rhythm toys can be enjoyable at times. There's even a co-op mode if you can get someone else who wants to play an 11-year-old game for the Wii with you. It's just also, what do I say, cool? Now of course you'd probably expect a rhythm game to have a good soundtrack, right? Well... yeah, of course this game has an amazing soundtrack. What, you thought I was leading into a fake out about how the game's OST isn't actually good? Nope, you just got pranked. But yeah, if it wasn't apparent by now, this game has a really great soundtrack. Almost every single song in the OST is amazing in its own right, with maybe one or two outliers. But even those are still super good. It just goes to show how much work was also put into the game's songs and not just the gameplay, but we'll get to that later. Even my least favorite game, Monkey Watch, has a great song to accompany its less than average gameplay. But now let's talk about that second thing, the gameplay. A game can have as great of a soundtrack as it wants to, but the game also has to have good controls to make said game truly exceptional. As much as I'd like to make another fake out into making you think that these controls are bad, I'd rather not make the same joke twice. I already stopped myself from doing it once. So instead, I'm just rambling on in this overly drawn out segment, so let's just move on. I briefly mentioned it already, but the gameplay is really clean and fluid in practically every single game, with only a couple exceptions. And I mean a couple. Because other than those few, everything in this game is just really fun to play through. The simple use of just the A and the B button makes nothing ever feel too complicated and always intuitive. It really is outstanding how much leverage they got out of the limited button controls that the Wii remote has. So, I've praised this game's soundtrack, I've praised the gameplay, I've even praised the controls. Is there anything else I can talk about with this game? I could go on about how Exhibition Match is probably the most underrated game in the package, but that's a story for another day, I'm afraid. But yeah, if it wasn't obvious enough already by the video you just watched, or by the title alone, I really quite like this game and every other one in the series. except for the first game because I have not played it yet, but I'm sure I'd like that one too. They aren't super deep or something that has a ton of replay value once you've mastered each rhythm game, but in the end, these games are just pure fun. Pure fun that I'll gladly play every now and again when I'm in the arithmetic mood. And believe it or not, that's why I consider Rhythm Heaven Fever to be a true masterpiece.